you know, you guys are real America's voice, and you guys are giving people their voice back.
If they're going to try to take our guns, they're going to have to fight us for them. That's all I can tell you.
As my grandfather would have said, that's a no good for nobody.
Good morning, Patriots. Welcome back to this American Sunrise. Ed and Karyn here with a very special guest, a real American voice named Ray Simon. It's actually, I said Simon Art, RaySimonArt.net, where you can find these beautiful portraits. Good to see you.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. It's a pleasure, Karyn. Thank you for allowing me here.
Thank you.
I brought 2 prints for you, and today, the reviewers for your show today, I'll sign them all in gold who purchase a print or a mug. I'll sign it in the name.
RaySimonArt.net. All right, so first of all, tell us your thought behind this beautiful painting. How did it come together? And then Karyn will jump in. We'll go back and forth.
The painting was commissioned by J.J. Cafaro, and every painting that
He's a gentleman from Ohio, I know him. Yeah.
Yes, and every painting tells a story. I have a painting in the Lincoln Library, but they all tell beautiful stories.
So what's this story?
This story, J.J. called me up and says, Ray, Donald's in tears because they've been friends since the 70s because of the story just of the lone eagle. If you look in the painting, you see the somber silhouette of, remember the Prayer Valley Forge? President Trump prayed a lot. His vision to the future. The lone eagle. I said, Mr. President, from day one of your presidency, you overcame what appeared to us as insurmountable challenges driven by those with evil intent. I said, malevolent forces will have their moments in time. As surely as evil will inherently topple itself, God's immutable governing power will always right what is wrong in the end. President Trump, you held that vision as sacred, and many times you stood alone. And that really got him emotionally engaged because at the end of the day, he really stood up for what he believed in, despite the consequences.
I could see, just from looking at this painting, I don't think you can see the amazing detail in the painting on camera.
Go to the website and check it out.
You got to go to the website and check it out, because when you go in and you really look at it, you see all these little details that you don't initially see in the painting, like you pointed out, the silhouette from Valley Forge. Obviously, you're a very spiritual person, just based on what you just said. What is it that inspired you to start painting this type of art? What did you do before?
I've always did artwork since I was a kid, and I do a lot of work for the National Football League. But every painting tells, for instance, the Lincoln story, that tells a beautiful story about all of us. And when the painting, the Abraham Lincoln painting, as he's walking down the ghosted image of Lincoln walking down the railroad tracks. His funeral was the largest in American history. And to understand what's happening now, you have to understand history. So I painted an image of Lincoln sitting at the steps of the Lincoln Memorial reading to multiracial children, the tallest child being biracial, representing that we all belong together and that will continue. So it really tells a beautiful story about, so to the right, he had the largest funeral, Ed, in the history of America. 7.5 million people lined up along the tracks to say their last goodbyes to a beloved president. So I painted a ghosted image of him walking down the tracks towards a new dawn in America's future. To the right, the cannon draws silent as the nation heals. But ghosted in the horizon are slaves working in the cotton fields who never lived to see the installment of the 13th Amendment, but they await on his arrival to thank him, embrace him, hold his hand as he did theirs, and take him home after his work has been done. And the one woman on the left with her arms around her bosom, bearing a child, knowing that her child will be born in just the beginning stages of a free country. And this is just important today, is when Lincoln said in 1863, we must not be enemies, but friends. We must remain friends, though our passions may have strained, our passions, traditions, maybe it cannot break our bonds of affection, with malice towards none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right. Let us strive to finish the work we're in and bind up the nation's wounds. That's what it's about.
Just beautiful.
You're so great at telling these stories, and you're talking about Lincoln at a time of great division in America, which we have now. So when you talk to Donald Trump, you talked to him on the phone a couple times about these paintings. So what did he say to you?
He said, you even got my hairs out of place perfect. and he really thought the painting was tremendous. He actually has it. If you go on his website and go to Donald Trump's, if you go to his estate holdings, you'll see right when you walk on Mar-a-Lago in the front entrance, going up to the what he calls the presidential ballroom, he put the painting there because it really captures what listen, none of us are perfect. Let me know when somebody's passing out dead fish and pita bread out of a small wicker basket. Let me know that, because then I want to see that person, he can touch my back, right? So we all have omissions. But at the end of the day, it's what you're doing from here and how it's benefiting our own kind. Human.
Really remarkable.
Thank you. Beautiful.
So you go to the website, RaySimonArt.net, and what are you going to do for our viewers?
For your viewers, I'm going to sign in gold every mug and every print in the gold enamel for your show, and I've always been a fan of both of you. Just so you know, I'm
Thank
not saying
you.
that because I'm
Thank
here,
you.
because obviously, I paint what I paint, and it comes from here. So,
Well, we appreciate that. What are your thoughts? Final question. You do this art to tell these stories. We talk about perilous times around the Civil War, to perilous times now, where people think we're losing our country. What keeps you optimistic? What keeps you hopeful about it?
I got to share with you, because I do a lot of paintings that tell stories about all of us, and it goes back to one of my favorite leaders, which was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And do you remember when he said, the ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where they stand in times of comfort, but where they stand in moments of great challenge and controversy. When I argue with people who are extremely left, which are violence, I always ask one question, Ed. What would Dr. Martin Luther King do? Do you remember these words as we stand in front of the great Emancipation Proclamation? And didn't he not say, let us not drink from the cup of freedom with bitterness and hatred? Didn't Dr. King also say, let us not protest with violence? Let us not degrade ourselves. Let us protest in peace. What would Dr. Martin Luther King say today? And that's what I've always based my values on.
Great stuff.
Amazing.
A great patriot. It's got some great art. RaySimonArt.net, sir. Thank you for sharing this painting with us today and all of our viewers. And I hope they go out and buy a lot of prints, a lot of mugs. You can see it right here. It's not just the Trump painting on one side. It's the other side that says The Awakening. And I think that probably resonates with a lot of our viewers. Ray, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, we certainly appreciate it. Let's get it to Denver, our newsroom again. Our buddy David Oliver is back, better than ever, with some headlines. Good morning again, David.
Good morning once again. Great to hear his perspective on the art there on the broadcast this morning.